specifically in the sales arena for about 21, 22 years at this point. Just yesterday, I was facilitating an event for the town of Breckenridge. So I'm going to give a little bit of an update on what we talked about there. And the reason being is because the topic was about choosing empathy, leadership, and resilience in times of crisis. What I had said as you were all starting to roll in was you're all leading from where you're standing right now. And so some of you are formal leaders. And for those of you that perhaps don't have the title that says you're a leader, we all are in a position of leadership. We lead from where we're standing. And I think that's really important to know, especially in times of crisis, which we're in right now. I chose to invite a lot of people today for that very reason, because I think many of us are seeking answers. I think things changed really fast over the past couple of weeks. And feel free to text chat me and tell me, hey, what has this has changed in my life, or you're welcome to just get yourself off of mute and tell me what has changed in your life over the past 2 weeks, because I can tell you, yeah, everything. Yeah, I've started homeschooling. That's really new. I am now a hoarder. I am now a prepper, which I never thought I would be that kind of an inventory keeper. I am now bleaching a lot more than I ever have in my entire life. Not that I wasn't a bleacher before, but it's a lot now. It's a lot. I am now also doing the best I can to be a support system for a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old, and the business that I've had now for, oh gosh, almost 16 years is in the most uncertain state it's ever been in. That doesn't mean that things are dismal, but they certainly are scary. They really, really are. I am not alone. You're not alone. And that's why we're here. Because all of these uncertainties, these things that are going on. How many of you had the chance to see Arne Sorensen, the CEO of Marriott's speech on Twitter? Did anyone see that?
No.
No. If you have a chance, okay, some of you did. If you have a chance, take a second to go find it. It's absolutely yeah, he cried. It was one of the most touching. And by the way, he's going through chemotherapy, which is why he's bald and his skin looks a little sunburned. But it was absolutely one of the most touching um, messages from a CEO that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And it really, for me, just sort of hit home how the gravity of this situation that we're all in right now. I'm sorry to each and every one of you that your resorts are not operating right now. It sucks. And it sucks for me. I never thought in my whole lifetime that that was ever going to happen. So we're all in this state of threat right now, a lot of threats going on. And it's not just happening to one of us, it's happening to all of us, which is in a way kind of creepy comforting, right? It's not like, well, this isn't happening to this guy. It's happening to all of us. And so when we experience threat as people, there are a few different levels on which this happens. So our status could be threatened. Uh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Our status could be threatened. And for some of us, we're probably experiencing that. Layoffs, those kinds of things. You are losing money. Your certainty could be threatened in that gray box. So I don't know what's coming up in the future. Your autonomy is feeling threatened now because there are stay-at-home orders, and hopefully everybody's staying at home. So it really stinks. Hey, we can do it, everybody. Sit on your butt at home. We can do this. Come on. Relatedness, right? The social distancing. I'm calling it physical distancing now because the social distancing just hurts my heart. Fairness. right? We feel threatened when it's not fair. It's not fair when we see celebrities and basketball players getting tests and we're not getting tests. And we see certain people getting laid off and other people aren't getting laid off. And that feels unfair to us. And then we feel guilty if we're still on board. And then I feel like, what do I have to do then? What's the expectation of me? And what's the expectation now that's placed on my team? So we experience these different threats, and these different threats then can hit home pretty quickly. And there are level 1 threats and level 2 threats and level 3 threats that come up. So, depending on where you are and how close these threats are to you, I mean, if you had a neighbor that was right next door to you that was affected by the virus and you were in a high risk category, you're probably feeling a little level 3 right now. But if you are not being affected at all and everything's cool and I've always worked from home and I haven't seen a human being in 2 months, your threat level might be a 1. So as leaders, from wherever it is that we're standing, whatever threat level we're living in is going to shape our mindset as well. And I can't coach, I can't lead unless I have the right mindset. So let's talk about mindset. Where are you right now? What is mindset? Mindset is your mood, disposition, mental attitude, or inclination. So, and I am going to ask for some responses here, please. So I would like you to use that text chat if you would, or even get off of mute. I don't care either way. What is your mindset right now? You have a bunch of different words up here. How are you feeling? Are you feeling energized by what's going on? Optimistic? Are you feeling bored, overwhelmed, frustrated? Tell me. I want to know.
Hi,
Anxious?
Erica.
Yes.
This is Linda from Blue Mountain Resorts. How are
Thanks.
you and
I'm
everybody else?
well. Thank you so much, Linda.
To me, personally, I'm more fearful, just due to the fact of uh, just everything you hear, and you're thinking, if you get a sniffle, you're thinking, oh my goodness, God, I've got it, kind of thing. So you're kind of fearful that that's going to happen to you, and you get kind of depressed because you know, different things happen to, your financial security, how can I make payments on my mortgage, that type of thing kind of goes through your mind and you're like going, holy crap, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So to me, I'm very fearful,
Hmm.
um, and just depressed and kind of feeling deflated, which is not anybody's fault. It's just the circumstances that are happening. And you're trying to keep up from day to day what's going on in this world and then kind of what's going on at work. And you're just like, sometimes you're very overwhelmed, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Does it feel like a weight on your chest?
Pretty much, because I've got right now a husband that's home on, he's on disability, and
Mhm.
because he's been in the hospital for about 3 weeks, and he's home now, and then I'm afraid, what if he caught something from the hospital and I get it, and other people get it? You're just like, oh, to me, it's just a bit fearful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that, Linda. Would anyone else like to share? I see some other ones that are coming in. Cassie said 1 day at a time. Some days are awful, some days are okay. Some of you had to lay off. I'm sorry, lay off your entire teams. One of my clients said we just had to lay off 85% of our staff, and it was a
Wow.
resort of 1,200 people. And the thought of just a wholesale exodus of humanity from this beehive of love and life and activity and happiness and joy, it just crushed me. Yeah. Frustrated at others who are not taking it seriously. Okay, sure. Anxious. It's bringing out the best and also the worst. Hmm. Would anyone else like?
Erica,
Yes.
it says Robert. It's his computer, but I'm Pat.
Oh, okay.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Pat.
Hello from sunny Breckenridge.
Sunny Breckenridge.
Um, I'm in a different situation. I'm a retiree, but I have the pleasure of working in a small place in Breck. Um, so the young ladies I work with are in the position of no income.
Hmm.
This is their primary job. I do what I do at the place I'm at because I love it. I love people. But I've been reaching out to emails to many of my friends to see how they're doing, checking up on them. Everybody's well so far. I'd have to actually put me in the optimistic because I believe in the people in our country, the goodness of people to help out. I would like people to be smarter about social distancing. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I worked in a hospital in the early 80s in Connecticut, and there was a patient I was supposed to see. He was not only have a policeman outside his door, but he had AIDS. This was before people had protocols. So you either protect yourself against them or or like a burn patient, make sure that you protect them and don't hurt them. So at the company that I'm at, we started to put in protocols before things were shutting down and all that. So to me, that's normal, but that's a way of thinking, not for everybody. But we will get through this, hopefully sooner versus later, but we will get through this. But I'm very much enjoying your talk. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the contribution, Pat, very, very much. A couple of other text chats have come in. Wendy from here in Pittsburgh. Hi, Wendy. She said, it's very surreal. That's the word I keep using. However, I try to focus on all the good going on in the world, but I definitely go through moments of anxiousness. There are some more awesome comments coming through. Nadia, Deer Valley, I'm positive and optimistic, but I'm blessed to still have a job for now. I exercise to keep my mental as well as my physical health. This too shall pass. That is your mantra, which I love. So check this out. Mindset is contagious. Everyone's mindset is contagious. Yeah, your husband will be the best chef ever. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of cooking as well. After the 27th consecutive meal, I did have a breakdown. I said, somebody else needs to turn the stove on. I can't do it again. I just can't. But mindset, roughly 50 to 75% of how an employee perceives the organization's climate can be traced to the actions of that leader. So if you didn't think, for those of you that are leaders, that you set the tone, you absolutely do. So if your set point as a rule is meh, or whatever, or same old, well, that's the highest mindset that you'll ever be able to expect anyone else you work with. And panic is going to beget more panic. So I bring this up to you now because, especially when you're all working remotely, and this is my experience in being a remote educator now for, gosh, 10 years probably. And I think a lot of you have participated in a lot of what I do virtually. You really have to step it up and be very engaged and come up with some diverse ways. So I want to give you some thoughts of what does your team need from you right now? What do the people that you lead? So if you're a mom of a family, what does your family need from you right now? For those of you that are coaches of a contact center or a sales team, or you're the manager of a retail outlet, what does your team need from you right now? We can, as leaders, cultivate calm waters. Yeah, you need a positive attitude. You need to know where that positive attitude comes from so you can sustain it. So, three things are going to help you to sustain that: certainty, choice, connectedness. So this is going to help you, and I'm going to break down these three for you. This is what's going to help to keep you in that adapt, the sweet spot in the middle, because I'm sure you've already had some friends that have been in the overreact, right? They're constantly reading the news, flipping through the news, sending you weird articles, Judgy McJudgerson, just flipping out all the time. And then you have others that are going, I don't even know why we're doing this. Survival of the fittest, man. So you're going to see both ends of the spectrum for sure, but you have to have more of that adaptive mindset in order to really make sure that you're going to get the results you want. I think the best example that occurred to me was as soon as I had to tell my kids that they weren't going back to school, they do the woohoo like it's a big snow day. And obviously they don't feel that way anymore. But my son said, "I don't even know why we're doing this. This is so stupid." And so then I had to give him some of the statistics and say, I get it. This really sucks. You're not going to see your friends for a while. You're going to have to all be kind of FaceTiming and video gaming. And I've got to be honest with you. I don't want to be in the house all this time either. But I tell you what we can do is that we can protect the elderly and we can protect the at-risk kids in your school from disease. And God forbid, if something were to happen to your grandparents, how would you feel? So when I was able to give him maybe my take or my vision on it, my opinion of it in that moment, and that's where I was in the moment, he was able to think in the future with me. And I'll share what that ended up looking like a bit. By the way, today, these are usually 30 minutes for those of you that know how green rooms work. Stay as long as you can. This is a meaty one just because of the world we're in. Stay as long as you can, okay? But number one, how can I best support those that I lead during so much uncertainty? A lot of things that we can do. I know there are times where we just look at it and we go, I, I don't even know where to begin because I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So how do I make somebody else feel certain when I'm uncertain? So these are some of the things that we can do. First of all, we can always be empathetic. So I get it. I can see why you feel that way. If I were in your situation, I would be heartbroken right now. Um, yeah, I have cooked the same meal 5 times in a row. I'm getting a little tired of it myself. Things like that. Those are ways that you can create certainty that people aren't feeling like they're going nuts. You can seek to create clarity. I don't know, but I'll find out. Make anything that's implicit explicit. So think of those things that are going on that are question marks right now. Or, well, I mean, I feel like everybody knows how to work from home, right? Right? I mean, we talked about it before you all left, so you should know how to do this, right? You should know what it means to prepare, right? Be explicit. Um, Establish a cadence of communication means that you have a plan. If you don't have a plan yet for how you're going to communicate with your team, make one. It doesn't have to be super rigid, but something that they can count on. So, for example, now for those of you that are green room veterans, you know that this happens every month, but now it's going to be every week until further notice. So that helps to create some certainty right now. So you can expect probably for, I don't know, it'll be past Easter, I can promise you that. Probably until the end of April, we'll be doing these weekly. Um, I think these are some things we can do. Share, here's what's not changing, what we're not going to change. Give some timelines. That's a great way to create some certainty. Here's a good example of a timeline that I made. This is a personal one, and I share this for a lot of you because now we're blending personal and professional. And for those of you in sales, those of you that are coaches, you know that you have to kind of think ahead a little bit and structure. And this was something that I learned from working from home as long as I have and having a home office as long as I have. I had to do this for my whole family, or there was going to be chaos very quickly. I'm happy to share this. So if you want this, just text chat me in the notes and I'll get it over to you. But this is a schedule from 9 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And yeah, I know it looks rigid, and I'm not a complete beast, I promise you, but it shows the kids and it shows me the times when we work and the times when they work, and it shows the other times when they have free time. So if you don't have something like this yet, this is a way to create certainty, to build that into what's going on in their worlds, in your world, in your team's worlds. So have some kind of a schedule for your sales team. Saboteurs of certainty. constantly checking the news and social media. Don't do that. It's gonna, what it does is it constantly barrages your brain and it constantly puts you into threat mode. So anytime an alert comes through on your phone from your news channel, you're going to be looking at it like Pavlov's dog. Turn it off. Just check it when you want to check it and be done with it. Another saboteur of certainty is worry. You can't, worry is not going to, and believe me, I worry a lot. So I've had to work on this one, but it is always going to sabotage any certainty that you create. So if you can get a handle on it first, worry won't get a handle on you. Other things, under communicating, underreacting, overreacting, we talked about that. Being overly critical and judgy. Yeah, I know there are probably a lot of us that would just like it if people would just stay home. And then we're going, oh my God, can you believe this? I can't believe this person did that. Why would this person, who needs that much toilet paper? I mean, come on, right? So in those moments, that's a way that we're trying to create some sort of certainty in our own lives. And that's just going to put you in more of a tailspin. Move on. What should we be focusing on when we don't have much to sell right now? How many of you are feeling this right now? Any of you?
Right now in our office, reservations versus cancellation, maybe if you're lucky, 1 or 2 reservations throughout your whole shift, 9 to 5, versus probably 10 to 15 or more cancellations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're selling a few passes as well. I'm in the same office with Linda
Okay.
in the guest services side of it. So we are selling a few passes, but nothing like we would have normally.
No.
I sold 2, I think, yesterday, nothing yet today.
Okay.
So yeah, they trickle in.
Yeah. And so then what do you do the rest of the time?
Well, I've been assisting Icon and working on Icon emails, and those have been coming in fairly steady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically that, reading through the Icon information, reading through reference information, just to try and stay on top of stuff.
Yeah. Good. It's hard sometimes for us to really identify what can I control and what can't I control and what are my limits of control. So this idea of choice helps us sometimes identifying what choices we really do have, especially in, we'll call it shifting sands in this world, right? And you might have seen this once upon a time. The 7 habits of highly effective people. This is kind of an adaptation of that, but I'm making this parallel. We make this parallel of what's going on today and what are the things that you have choice over. So you have choice over your control, choice in your influence, and choice in your concern. So when you're, go ahead, please.
Erika, may I ask a question to the lady who just said they have reservations? And this is Nadia from the Valley Resort. Is this one next winter already, or for summer, or?
Right now, again, it's Linda Blue. Right now, our executive made a decision from now until April the 12th that we aren't accepting any new reservations. From pretty much April 13th to April 30th, we've been advised not to make reservations. And people are just, to be honest, has the panic button unless they're coming with a group that maybe is coming in June, July, August. So pretty much if there's anything going to be booked, it's going to be in the summer, like, 4 or 5 months from now.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and they're very far and few between right now until I think everybody, as I say, we've all got our panic button on and we're all kind of like, I don't want to chance it, kind of thing. And it's sort of unfortunate until things, I know, unfortunately, things are going to get worse before they get better. But, we're just trying to be a little bit proactive, protect our community, protect the staffing and that. So, and an email has been sent out. We've been doing follow-up calls, saying them just to let you know, we sent out an email, your reservation is canceled because of the current circumstances in the world. And at this point, we haven't had a lot of negative feedback, because even though you may not look at the social or the news necessarily, everybody knows the world's shit in a handbasket, pardon my French right now. So but and I think people understand and they're appreciative of that we're trying to take the steps to keep everybody healthy, if that makes sense. The only people we are allowing on our resort property are owners that own the unit and anybody that could go home and catch a flight that's in international at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Thank
kind of
you.
scary, but we're trying our best, and you try to stay positive and kind of say, oh, especially when it's something that's been canceled, most likely they're going to reschedule. We hope to see you another time, kind of thing. Or I say, hopefully, when everything, all this things going around the world, when it gets better, we hope to see you again, kind of thing. So you gotta, despite the crappy circumstances, you gotta try to spin a positive light, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yes,
And it's hard
absolutely.
sometimes too, because you get kind of frustrated being kind of on the reservation side where you're going, oh, I made 2 reservations. Hooray, that's great. In the circumstances, and you think, oh, great, I canceled about 10 to 15 reservations. So I made no revenue today. I'm in the negative, unfortunately.
Right.
But, I'm trying to get, there is some days I must honestly admit, I feel deflated. I want to cry. And sometimes I do. That's the one
Yeah.
advantage of working at home. But no one can see your tears, right?
Right.
But I get frustrated because I have a lot of other personal things, and you're kind of running through your mind. Our office has been very fortunate, though we've kind of cut back hours. We've been fortunate to have still our job, which is fantastic. Because I think if I didn't have it, I think I would have gone into the crisis. I don't think you get crisis under concern. I think you need to have crisis, because I think that's where I would be at this point. But we all try to stick together, and we're all trying our best just to make a go of it and try to stay positive and just say, once this is over with, we'll love to see you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
So the 3 things to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out what choices do I have are those 3 big questions on the left. What can I personally control so that I have the right mindset for my team, whoever your team is again, right?
Mhm.
So for me, I have a bunch of different teams. I have my clients, partners. Those are several different teams. I have, of course, my family team. I have my friend team. I have. I have to be aware of them. We're doing things in our neighborhood, like just sending a text chat out and saying, "Hey, we're doing a grocery run. Does anybody need anything?" So that way we don't have this exodus from the whole neighborhood going out to Target. We don't need that. One person can do it and get everything and sanitize it, and we're good to go. So we're controlling those kinds of things. I can still control my kindness and grace and being patient with people and being patient with myself. Things are not perfect right now. In fact, they kind of suck. My house is pretty dirty, but I can control how I react. I mean, it's not filthy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. It's not that bad, but it's
I
not
was gonna say that's one thing I noticed. Like when I'm sitting there, oh, there's dust bunnies I need to clean up. Isn't that kind of crazy? I
right. But
hear you. I hear you on this end.
But in my world right now, where does that rank? It's not super high for me right now. But if it is a super high thing for you, okay. But remember, that doesn't have to be super high for everybody else. That's a you thing. So remember, that's also part of your mindset. And then you have to ask yourself, what could I be controlling instead of the people in my life because things aren't as clean as I want them to be?
And I'm one of those things. This is awful. There's no gray area. Everything has to be black or white. And it's really hard because one day you'll call a guest and say, hey, we're open, but just to let you know, nothing else is. And the next day, oh, by the way, we are not open. And you feel like crap because you did what you were asked to do that day, but the next day, it can change by hour. And then you're kind of like, oh, why did it's just like you were assigned this task at that point in time. That's what happened. And sometimes we're just going hour by hour in our office. Things can change that quick.
That's it. So day tight compartments are the way to go right now for all of you, and give each other that grace. I think that's a big thing.
And that's one good thing with us. We have Microsoft Teams, and every morning people say good morning to each other, goodbye to each other. We
Awesome.
help each other out. We virtually high five each other, and doing a lot of Just recite the circumstances. We're trying to uplift each other, which I think is helpful. At least for me, I think it's great to say, "Oh, great, everybody's saying hi to each other." Because that's
That's
my usually
perfect.
when I go to the office, I say hi and bye to everybody.
Mhm.
And Blue Mountain staff will attest that I do that every time I work, hi and bye. And it's kind of nice we're all doing that, though we can't be with each other due to the circumstances. We're still connected as a team, which is very important.
What's the platform again? Is it
Microsoft Teams is what we work out
Microsoft
of.
Team? Okay, looks like Wendy knows it as well. So the second question, oh, sorry. What choices do I have in terms of how I influence my contact center right now? So using something like Microsoft Teams, making that available. Remember though, one of the saboteurs of choice, and I'll get this to you in a second, is forcing that. Some people don't want to do that. And so if, let's say Jane is like, I'm just not feeling it today, guys. You don't have to say, well, you must be high-fiving people. You need 5 high fives today. Because then you're starting to take choice away instead of having the effect that you want. And the third thing, what choices can I make about how I share or don't share my concerns with the team? So that's a big thing. I can have opinions about the president and China, and I can have opinions about my state and the legislation going on, and I can have lots of opinions. But remember, that mindset that I bring is going to shape, it's contagious, so it's going to shape the attitude of my team. So if I walk around like a grump about everything, I'm going to get grump, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it probably 10 times worse. So those saboteurs of choice, focusing on what you can't control. I can't control the news. I can control what I watch, but I can't control what's reported. I can't control the polarity of news channels, so don't focus on that right now. Just don't look at it. Being overly prescriptive for when or how people work from home. So I'm going to give you suggestions just based on how I have done it. You don't have to take them. If you're struggling with something, great. But I'm not saying that's how you have to do it because it doesn't work for everybody. My office, and I will say, Wendy, yes, my office is relatively clean. My husband's office, it, I have never seen so many empty glasses on top of a desk in my entire life. I don't even know what color his desk is. It's so cluttered. And that's just the way he works. Choice saboteur, shutting down creative and possibility conversations too soon in search of certainty. Now, remember, we are in a state of brainstorming. We're in a state of change. Every single one of you just had your entire, it's like a snow globe right now, right? Everything was shaken up. And now we're all just watching it going, I wonder how it's going to fall, right? I wonder how it's going to fall. Well, you could sit there and just look at it like it's a snow globe, or you could brainstorm and say, well, what do I have control over? What could we do differently? How could we? So be open. And my mother-in-law always used to say is try something new. If it sucks, you can change it in 3 weeks. But try it for 3 weeks. Change it after that. And then checking out, that's a huge choice saboteur. No choice is a choice. So don't check out. You all have to be engaged right now. So what can you do? You all gave some great ideas here. So Bethany said, now I have time to catch up on all the little projects that were piling up. Feels good to check things off a list, doesn't it? I love it. Updating booking platforms, updating photos, switching to off-season projects. These are great. Here's some other ones. Schedule those one-on-ones weekly. So many of you, I know, because I talk to you and I work with you. I just don't have time for the one-on-ones, Erica. I never make time for them. Well, guess what? Now you have time. And this is the best time. And all the remote teams that I work with, they schedule a one-on-one. They also have a group stand up daily or a coffee talk. It's not like a real stand up. I mean, you can stand up, I guess. It doesn't really matter, but you all convene for a quick period of time. What's on the slab? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Be clear with your expectations for the day. Organize training materials right now, because I promise you, as soon as you all get back to status quo, or whatever new status quo, new normal is going to look like, you're going to have a lot of new hires. You're going to need videos, recordings, documents, slideshows, call criteria, process. You're going to need a shopping platform in place. You're going to need to have your, however you're scoring in place. I know a lot of you are on Navis. That's awesome. So get your plan in place now. If you don't know what you need, ask me. I will help you. But especially, we're going to be rolling into summer. It's new hire time. We're going to have to be ready to get boots on the ground immediately. So don't think, oh, it's all good. No. So be ready. You know, a lot of you have been having to field complaints and problems, and you've probably been saying sorry more than you ever have in your entire life, or some version therein. So get some guest service recovery training, some service recovery conversation going on. How do I phrase this? How do I say this right? How do I empathize with this person? Clearly, I'm getting the sense that this person wants me to feel their pain. How do I say that in a way that doesn't make me feel like I apologize for the inconvenience, when I've said it now 75 times a day? I'm tired of saying it. There is a way. And so you need to practice that. So now's the time to get that stuff set up for yourself. Do some shop call coaching, scenario rehearsals, get prepared. That's a good thing to be working on. Another thing, get your callback lists ready to go. How could you add value to the service that you're offering? Think about, what would be great if we had video tours of all of our lodging that we had in advance. What would be great is if we could do online e-commerce. Is there a way that we could get that started now? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Wendy, I think of your retail. If you're not already doing online, maybe now's the way to start thinking of how you could. My goodness.
Oh,
Yes.
Erica, it's Wendy. Hi.
Hi.
It's so funny you mentioned that. I was just about to text my coworker Molly because she's on here as well. But we are definitely going in that direction. We're in the mode, or in the process of researching, and hopefully we will be there soon.
I love it.
Soon rather than later. But can I just say one quick thing too? I was going to type it, but I always, like I mentioned, I'm trying to stay positive. I'm excited for the future, for the rebound, when we can open our doors again. I have a feeling, and I could be completely wrong, but I feel like when this is over and things start opening up again, who is going to want to stay in their house? Everyone's going to be wanting to be out and travel and be together. And we have this shared, unfortunate experience. So to me, I hope our welcome centers are slammed with people that want to have that communication, that face-to-face. It's not just, hey, I'm in Pittsburgh, let me get on my phone and see what I can do. No, let me get in there, let me talk to someone. What happened? How did you get through this? What was your experience? I think it could be, in a weird way, a good, I hate to say a good thing, but you know what I mean, like a way to get people more I don't know, human interaction, I guess, because as great as technology is, it does sort of divide us in a way. But yeah, so I'm excited for that aspect of it. In the meantime, yes, it's very tricky, and like I said, it's so surreal. It's just bizarre. I don't know. When I go outside and see normal things, like, hey, someone's taking a walk. Oh, they're sitting in the grass with their child. It's so nice because it's so normal.
Yeah. No, my neighbor made the same observation just yesterday, and I was reading an article about how the economy is already seeing some shifts in China. And what you're describing is what's happening. I mean, they're starting, because of the fact that they're already, seeing it go away. Then they're seeing this emphasis on domestic travel. They're seeing, though, that consumers are being more demanding of the quality of product that they're receiving. So
that could be true. I think people will definitely have to consider, businesses, I should say, how to attract folks back, and that could be some discounts or some more value, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
And I did read somewhere that if this is true, when things start to recover, people will probably stay domestic, do more staycation type things, which again is a benefit for obviously U.S. businesses. Even for you, Eric, I mean, guest service recovery, hello, that's going to be big. Even the hotels, I would hope that they get filled. I mean, I was joking saying you're not going to be able to get a restaurant reservation, a hair appointment, a dentist appointment. Everything's going to be booked for years
My
after.
goodness, you have a point. I saw my husband said this morning, he said, well, the busiest people when all this is over will be the barbers and the hairdressers.
Yes, yes, for sure.
And also doctor appointments, because I know we're waiting a couple months before my husband gets an MRI. So it's just like everything's at a standstill. So you're kind of like going, okay, I guess we got to ride the storm.
It's so odd.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. But I do think there'll be some good that comes out of it for sure. But anyway, I'll go back to listening. Thanks.
No, thanks, Wendy. Such great contribution there. I appreciate all the contribution, Wendy included. Thank you so much. How do I best lead my remote team? We've alluded to this a little bit. Listen, virtual meetings really can be great. I know at first you're just going, oh my God, this is going to suck so bad. And there are some of you, I'm sure, that are probably doing work while you're listening to me in the background. Hi, I see you. I'm watching you. Yeah, right. Hi, David. So some of you are just going to participate in meetings very differently. And some of you have to talk and you have to be engaged. And that's okay. And that's okay. So I want to make sure that you are aware of the value of virtual meetings for everybody so that you have a nice diverse thing and that you're aware of some of the tools that are available to you. There are things you can do. You can make check-ins, like I said, like a stand up or a coffee talk that just acknowledges what the new normal is going to be. And you can have virtual happy hours or coffee or break rooms. Just have lunch together online. Say 12 o'clock, we're going to have our stand up. Bring your sandwich. Okay, I can do that. Open online platforms for staff to use for communication with friends and family during off work hours. My husband chats more with his coworkers than he does with his friends. I don't even think he has friends outside of work because they're always chatting. I don't chat. So for me, I need humans. So this is hurting. It's really hurting me. But you can do this. Creating connection in a socially distant world. Tomorrow night, I think we're going to be playing. We're playing Pictionary with our next door neighbors. Next door neighbors, on this platform on GoToMeeting.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can play headbands. You can play Guess Who, that old Flippy, the Flippy game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can play. You can do all kinds of stuff. So I have a couple of icebreakers even for you here. I think the thing, though, to acknowledge is that, like I said, some people aren't into it. Don't mandate it. Different generations are going to be more into it than others. I've done a lot of homework on Generation Z. They're going to be very much into it. These are kind of our new crop that will be coming in soon. These are the ones born between 95 and 2010. So the oldest are about 22, just entering the workforce. You're going to see them a lot. They're going to be interested in hospitality. Here's something great to know about them. 74% of them prefer, so different than millennials. 74%, according to a study by Pew Research, prefer having real face-to-face communications with colleagues, placing higher value on effectiveness than convenience.
Wow.
I think that's interesting because my daughter follows in the Generation Z. She was born in 1995. And I think the cell phone is one of the most important things that was created on this green earth. So I think sometimes technology, sometimes wins over more than face-to-face, personally speaking. But I guess it depends, of course, of the individual as well.
Yeah, it is. I even asked my son today, I said, so what's your preferred method? And he said, text. I said, assuming you knew that everybody was available at the same time, does that change your answer? Yes. What? Oh, I'd call them. It's like, oh, okay. That was interesting. And he's 14. So I want you to know this, though, because as you have newer hires coming on board that could potentially be great candidates, they will be seeking face-to-face time with you, in-person discussion. And I think that's really good for you to know. So not just for them, but for all of us, some of the trends that we needed to be following to begin with have now been, our hand has been forced, is what I'm trying to say. So making training snackable, micro learning kind of things, citing sources for staff to dive deeper into content, making training materials more digitally sourced. Gen Z is going to learn by doing, active learning. So role play, scenario rehearsals, simulations, design challenges, collaborative problem solving. Those are the kinds of things that they're going to be looking for, and they want to steer their own learning. So now's the time where you can be thinking of, hey, I can be leading my remote team by doing some of these things, because this doesn't require me to sit right next to them. Whereas maybe with some previous generations, there was a lot of more hand holding that was required, perhaps. Saboteurs of the connection, judgment. Ugh, who's never going to get this? There's no way we're going to be able to have a remote team. This is too hard. Pity, comparison, offering advice when people just want to be heard. I think sometimes I fall victim to this. Sometimes I need to just ask and say, "Do you just want me to listen?" Because I have a tendency to just want to fix it. And not because I want to fix it, it's because I feel like people are asking me to fix it. But that's my story. That's not true. Again, forcing connection, overly controlling staff schedules and hours. Now, what are some things that you could do? If you're looking for some icebreakers, I have a lot of other ideas here. You could just ask questions, 2 truths and a lie, most unique, and who's the most unique in 6 words. Take a picture of your shoes today and send it in. Nadia's knitting right now. All right. Um, what's the coolest souvenir on your desk? Send a picture of it. I think a lot of you that work remotely, probably your coworkers don't know what your house looks like. Not that you have to share everything in your house. I'm not taking a virtual tour of my personal space, but if you want to personalize it a little bit and you have that rapport, that would be great. What's the story behind your name? This is another cool one. Hey, when I travel the world again, where do I want to go? Where do you want to go? I want to know. When you get to travel the world again.
Mine would be Australia. I've never been there,
Australia?
and it's just been my dream. And I haven't been outside of Canada, so that is kind of if I could do it, would be my thing that I would want to do.
Cool. Okay. Mine is Iceland. Let's see. Samantha is Greece. Carrie is Scotland. Bethany, Thailand. Vietnam, Singapore. Oh my goodness. Oh, you had to cancel your trip. I'm sorry. Nadia, you want to see your family in Germany, of course. Oh, Cassie, I hope you get to go to Jamaica. David wants to go to Wuhan, everybody. Oh, have fun. I hear the bat is delicious. Cassie, yes, I'm crossing my finger for you. Emily, you will go to London. I promise. Lynn, Scotland and New Zealand. Bethany, but it's okay because I know what to book and I can get better rates by booking earlier. Oh, Erica, you're supposed to go to Hawaii in October? Good. Have fun. I used to live there. Aww. Okay, here are my tips for you to work from home. This is from me to you after doing this for a long time. Wendy, Greece and Maldives. Yes, so many others. I have a long bucket list too. So what have I learned that has helped me the most? Set your alarm so that you get up before everybody else. You first. And this is because as soon as everybody else gets a piece of you, it's mayhem. So work out, meditate, read the news, walk the dog, do whatever you do first. Get you out of the way. Put actual work clothes on. I was going to say put clothes on because I know some people have to actually be told that you got to put clothes on, but you know what I mean. Put like dress as though you're going to work. not that you're going to take a nap. Start and end your day at scheduled times as best you can. Don't pull all-nighters. Have some structure. You're going to be more efficient that way, and people will have more respect for your time that way also. Work in a separate part of your house. Don't work from your kitchen table. Don't work from a multi-use area of the house, particularly not a high traffic area. If you're not able to create that kind of a thing, try to develop something that's sort of this is my sacred space. So everyone knows to stay out of your space. Batch tasks as best you can. So read emails all together, and don't be, again, like Pavlov's dog, just looking at those emails every second that they come in. That's not effective and efficient. Agree on a schedule or a routine for everybody in the house. So again, the schedule that I showed you earlier, if this helps you, awesome. I'm happy to share it, but agree on how that's going to work. So that way everybody knows, hey, between 10 and 11, it's academic time and mom and dad are working. And so this is non-electronic academic time. So that way they don't have to come in and go, Mom, can I get on my iPad to blah, blah, blah. Like, just figure it out. You're smart. 5 human calls, human reach outs every day, because you that's right, telling that to a 4-year-old. Oh, David, I know it's tough. Agree on a schedule, or sorry, 5 calls or human reach outs every day, which means you need to talk to human beings that are not living in your house, because you will start to feel your walls get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you will feel very lonely, and you will start to question your monkey mind. So get out. At least let your brain outside if your body can't be outside. And eat away from your desk. Don't sit at your desk and eat. Make it separate. Does anyone else have any good tips for working from home?
I know at Blue Mountain, what we've been doing is we start at 9, but at 8:45, we go into Microsoft Team and we have a meeting each day, kind of just saying, okay, any questions? This is what's new. So it's been kind of informative. So you kind of know what the scoop is before the day starts, and then you're not necessarily going, I think there was an email about. So it's been kind of helpful, I find, especially working from home, just kind of getting the updates continually. It's been great.
That's good. Okay. Anything else? Wendy says, I try to take a walk every day. Yes, get outside. Make sure you mentally clock in and out of work. Right. So start and end your day and then leave it. Close the door. Close the door. Close your laptop. Shut it down. Turn it off. Because if you don't, it's too easy for you to go, let me just check. Let me see if any email came in just real quick. You have to make the separation. That's what you have control over. That's a choice that you make, remember? So that's a wellness habit. That's a work focus piece that you can do. Wendy, when you say you walk every day, that's a wellness habit. So when you have that inner control as a leader, that shows your team how you want them to also lead themselves. I expect you to make time for yourself. I make time for myself. If you have a leader that works 80 hours a week, then everyone's like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to work 80 hours a week too. Oh, okay, well, I'll look busy. Oh, I don't really want to do this. I hate this job. So don't do that. For those of you that are typical virtual coaching solution subscribers, I just want to bring to your attention that we do have some other things that are going to help you to kind of keep your team focused during this time, because we have all of these videos, which you might remember. One second. And if you're ever interested, for those of you that don't get these, what did I do? I'm sorry, everybody. One moment, please. What have I done? How many of you have training videos right now of anything? No? Maybe something.
We don't necessarily have training videos per se,
Mhm.
but we do have like a training module of our computer, and we have what's called SOPs, so standard operating procedures,
Uh-huh.
that we have to help assist if you're training staff.
Okay. Okay, I got it. Well, yeah, Cassie, I know that you have the ones that we send you, but videos of any other to-dos, things that your staff is going to need to know how to do, kind of thing. Do any of you have anything else? Because there are ways that you can actually record mini training videos of things. For those of you that are our our regular clients, you know that you have access to this and come tomorrow. I promised you um, last week that you were going to get a cataloged access to every single one of these videos. And so I wanted you to just know that this is coming your way. So be on the lookout for those of you that are subscribers. So Cassie, David, and company, for example, you're going to be getting all of these coming to you. So things like telephone rapport, let me tell you what I can do. Very important right now. Remembering names, the value chain technique. For those of you that have gone through training, you know what that means. Using flow words, not no words. Um, yeah, Cassie keeps them all. So you don't have to keep them all anymore. This link is just going to take you to the whole library. And that way you can just pick and choose. And this is a way to just keep your teams sharp. So if you don't have something like this is something that I'm happy to share with you. It's also something that I think is something that if this is a resource you have access to now, use this now. This is great for you. Top 10 relationship breakers in hospitality sales. Oh, I'm sorry. There's guest service recovery. Sorry. There's also, what else? 1 minute coaching for those of you that are leaders. There's be grateful but expecting gratitude for those of you that are just feeling heartbroken right now because people keep yelling at you. So get into the library. I think it's going to help you to just get your head and handle around maybe some things that you can be focusing on that'll help to keep you sharp. You're also going to get access to the last 2 years of green rooms as well. So this is one example of a green room, but there are many, many others as well. And then,
Erica, are these
yes.
available to any of us?
Well, they're only available right now to our subscribers. So if this is
Okay.
something that you're interested in, though, let me know because I can see what we might be able to figure out for your resort.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course, definitely. So for effective coaching, just some tips to remind all of you, for those of you that are coaches of staff, remember constant "what's in it for me" messaging has to be part of part of what's required there. Create moments that people can be digitally proud of. Train face-to-face conversational skills. They're still going to need that, especially after all of this, right? We're going to be doing this for so long that suddenly they're going to be in front of people again and they're going to be looking around going, what do I do? What do I say? I feel socially awkward. So you're going to need to help them. Oh, thank you, Cassie. I can do a video on requesting cancellations. Let's talk about that. Thank you. Managing the expectation for feedback monthly is enough, but your staff's going to start to want daily grades. So factor that in somehow. Just keep being as transparent as you can. So I want to just open it up. I know, like I said, I knew this one was going to go long. I want to make sure I make time for questions, though. Does anyone have a question they want to ask, or text chat, or pose to the group? Was I unclear in anything? Was this helpful or way too much?
I found it very helpful, so I certainly appreciate you taking the time and inviting us from Blue Mountain Resorts to join. I found it quite informative, actually.
Thank you. It was honestly my pleasure. It's the least I can do. I just feel like
And
so ineffective right now. So thanks for
and feel
saying
free to invite us over again. We would love to be part of this. This is like a fantastic learning experience for Blue Mountain.
that. Cool. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Whenever one is relevant, I'll make sure that you're on the docket. So, what is the future in Green Room Life? This is the menu of topics for the year. These are always scheduled. So, Sales Coaching Bootcamp today, April 23rd, is it's all in the details. So, small amenities that are proven to make a big difference. But then, as you can see here in the bottom left-hand corner, green room frequency now will be weekly during our current situation. So I'll make sure that invitations go out. The weeklies, besides the scheduled ones, so anything that happens between March 26th and April 23rd, it's really just going to be open forum. And hey, here's an article I saw. Bring things that you see. Or hey, I noticed here in Breckenridge, this is what people are doing. I want to hear about best practices. I want to create a community where all of you can really talk about things that are working, not working. I'm having a challenge. People are getting frustrated. What do I do? I want to make sure that you all have that venue because we're all feeling a little awkward and isolated. And so I'm here. I'm here. Another way that you can stay connected with us is on social. Guest Service Solutions is the handle. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Join me. We have lots of inspirational things to share with you. And with that, I'll leave you with a final thought, which is that your vision for what we look like on the other side of this is going to start with your thoughts today. So be careful of what you think because your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your beliefs. And your beliefs will be your legacy. So thank you, everybody. What an absolute pleasure to connect with all of you. Please stay in touch with me. Take care.
Thank you, Erica. It was great.
Yeah, thanks, Erica. That was wonderful.
Thank you. I'm so glad you were here.